Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm gonna do a little video on my Toyota CHASER JZX100. Now I'm gonna show you how to mount up this Innovate Boostcontroller. Already mounted it up. I'm just gonna show you where I run everything and where to put everything. So the first thing you need to do is to weld in a O2 bung that comes with the SCG-1 kit from Innovate. This can also be applied to different boost controllers as well. But this one is boost and AFR controller. This video is for a completely stock 1JZ GTE VVTi. But it can also be run on like top mount turbo setups, 1JZ GT non-VVTi, 2JZ, every single one. Or every single turbo motor, you can just hook up this and then just control the boost. So, first things on the Innovate SCG-1 kit is to weld in an O2 bung. So it's a little hard to see, but this is the original one, and then down there on the downpipe I have welded a O2 bung that comes with the kit, the O2 sensor. It's a Bosch LSU 4.9. So what they say is to put it between 9 and 2 on the pipe. So let me just get this pipe right here. So between 9 and 3, I mean. So somewhere on the top side of the pipe. Because if you take it lower, like some condensation and water will pool up in the bottom, and the O2 sensor doesn't like water at all, so you'll just run through a lot of O2 sensors like that. So in the directions in the kit it says to at least put it 24 inches or 60 centimeters from the turbo. So I routed the cable up through there and then just zip tied it to here. So I have the connector really easy to come to and to disconnect and then change out if it has to be changed out. And then I have the wire running from the boost controller looped around here. And then if you can see, there's this little right there. This little, I can show you on the other side how it looks before you have put in cables. It's this little rubber like plug for. So I just drilled a hole through that, a 12mm hole, and then just fit all the cables through to the cabin. And then I ran also the map sensor for the SCG-1 kit. I ran it over here. This is just temporarily mounted, but you always have to mount this map sensor like almost vertically. I think this is okay. It's worked out for me. So yeah, there's these two holes there, which you can make a little bracket or something, which comes out from somewhere, and then just screw it on there. That's what I'm gonna do at a later point. And then you have to run a vacuum line from the map sensor to somewhere on the intake manifold with this stopper that you can take out, this one right here. And then you can just fit the vacuum line up to the intake manifold. So yeah, that's the map sensor plumbing all done. I have to plumb up the MAC sensor as well. And find a suitable place away from heat sources. And just screw it in on a bracket like I did right here. So you have to, on the MAC valve, you have 3 ports. And it comes with a exhaust filter, as well as these barb fittings. Port number 1 is exhaust. Port number 3 is on the front here. And that one you have to hook up to the wastegate. And port number 2 you have to hook up to the turbo. But as you see down here, it's really cramped. So there you see where the right there is the boost reference. You have to hook up a line that also comes in the kit up to the MAC valve, and then you have to run a hose to the wastegate solenoid as well. And then after all that is done and you have run your wiring into the cabin, then you have to move on and work on inside. And then if we go underneath here, you can see you have to remove some of this sound deadening. Then you just run all wires through. And what I've done is to run them over the clutch pedal. There's like a little space up over there. And then I run them around steering column, because this is the shaft that moves, but there's also like a sleeve up top there. And then I just run them over and over here and just put the extra wiring up in there. I'm gonna get this surround. I'll leave a link in the description for where you can buy this 3D printed surround for a gauge. Because I was going to go for the gauge pod that goes over here. But since the SCG-1 has like a lot of cables running from the unit itself, it wouldn't fit. So keep that in mind. If you're just going for a random, like a AFR gauge or something, that would work really, really great. But if you're gonna run one of these, keep in mind that there's a lot of cables that have to be run. Well, on this one you have to run a positive wire and the ground. And then if you want to do there's like 3 other wires underneath the Boostcontroller. There's a dimmer that you could run to your headlights. Just tap into the headlights, not use this switch, because then the thing wouldn't work. But you have to have a 12 volt going into the gauge to like dim at night, and then when your headlights are not on, it lights up all the way. Or you could just run that one to ground, the white wire, and then it'll just be on all the time with the same brightness. And I've tested it out. I really prefer it being brighter in the day and night. It doesn't distract me at all. So I tapped into the 12 volt jack over here in the back, and then run the same way the positive over here, and then I just ran a negative to one of the negatives up in there. I really can't. Oh, okay, there. As you see right there, there's the negative. Then you can also run a RPM and use this with a RPM gauge as well. I didn't want to do that, so I didn't run that one. On the inside, how to dismantle all this stuff, you have to take off this plastic. Just come in with your hand and just go underneath and pry it out really carefully, because these can break. As well as when I was running the positive from the 12-volt jack, you have to take off this whole bezel as well, and the shifter bezel. And then there's one screw right behind this cover. If you take out this part, there's one screw there. And then when you take off this, there's also one screw. And then there's one screw right here. Then you could take this whole plastic off with clips that goes over. You have to take off the wire for the hood release as well. Right here. The first time you start up this unit, you have to leave the wideband unplugged for 30 seconds. Sorry, let's see here. There we go. You have to leave your wideband unplugged so that the unit can calibrate properly with the wideband. So leave it for 30 seconds, turn off the ignition, and then turn it on again with the wideband connected. Then it'll say O2 heater. Let it heat up. Let it sit for like 60 seconds, and then turn it off again, and then on. And then you could just click through here. You have two buttons. One, you can just cycle through all the modes. So here you have wideband. I have it on lambda, but you can also change it to AFR. Then you have boost. I have it on bar, but you can also change it to KPA and PSI. Then you can have your peak boost. It also remembers, so it'll remember your peak boost until you turn off the key. And then you have the wideband up top and then bar in the bottom, and switched around, and then only wideband. If you want to go into the menus, you have to hold the left one, and then you have your wastegate duty. If you hold in, wait until it flashes, and then you can change the wastegate duty. This is basically how you set your boost. If you wait, or you can hold in these two buttons to like confirm it. I'll try. There we go. Now I can cycle through again. And the gain, when you see that your peak boost is around like maybe 4,000 and then it just drops off a little bit, you can adjust the gain as well to make it hold boost a little longer. Active pressure is your spring pressure, and you have to put it like 2 psi lower than your spring pressure. I had actually problems with the boost coming on, like it seemed like it was like a VVTi, but really hard. And that's because I had my active pressure too high. So I put it at 0.10 bar. That's when the Boostcontroller start gonna do its thing. And then you have boost cut pressure. When it reaches 1.1 bar, it's gonna cut the MAC valve and just go off the spring pressure on your wastegate. So This is just a safety that I have built in, that if you don't want to go over 1.1, then it's gonna cut. As well, you can change the percentage of the cut. I have it at 100, so it just disables it at all. AFR start pressure, I set that the same as active pressure. And AFR cut, if the AFRs goes over this, it's gonna also cut the MAC valve. And then you have shift RPM, because you have a shift light right here. If you hooked up the RPM, then you can turn on this feature. I don't care about that, so I haven't set anything there. Here is also a RPM mode where you can do some stuff. I'm not too sure about this because obviously I don't care about that stuff. And RPM scale here as well. Then you have map units. This is where you can change over to bar or PSI or KPA. And here is lambda or AFR. Then you can also enable or disable the LSU 4.9. If you have like a 4.2, you can also run that. As well as you have to put in your fuel type. Like gasoline should run at 14.7 AFR. That's the stoichiometric ratio. If you go for E85, you have a different one, and on lambda this will be 1. And then you have altitude compensation. I have it at 0 because I'm at sea level. And then you're back. So yeah, that's basically it. Just play around with it. Always do the wastegate duty first and then adjust the gain appropriately. Just one or two like steps at a time, not to blow your engine. So yeah, that's basically it. Really easy mod to do. And yeah, you can also on the JZX100s you could also run a big turbo with the same ECU, just buy a fuel cut defender and use this beautiful like use it as a piggyback almost, just not with fueling and stuff. So yeah, that's basically it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If there's any questions at all, just leave them in the comments and I'll answer them. And I'll also put a link to the SCG-1 because it's a beautiful gauge and a really easy one to install. Covers all bases. So yeah, I would really recommend that. Hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time. Bye bye.